Ladies and gentlemen, let me share something that could change the way you see yourself today. There is a reason some women never truly fall apart. They have walked through pain. They have faced betrayal, heartbreak, rejection, and disrespect. Yet they still carry themselves with quiet strength, as if the storms never stole their peace. Not because they are emotionless, not because they have stopped feeling, but because they are protected. There is a greater power guiding their steps, surrounding them, opening doors they cannot yet see, and making a path where none seems to exist. When you begin to notice those signs, everything starts to make sense. You understand why she keeps rising after every setback, why every attack meant to destroy her somehow becomes another reason she grows stronger. So if you are that woman, or you are becoming her one day at a time, stay with this message until the end. Every moment of it reflects a strength that may already be living inside you, and what comes next may help you recognize it even more clearly. To many people, it looks like she walks through life by herself. They wonder why a woman like her does not always have a crowd around her. No loud entrance, no constant attention, no endless need for approval. She simply moves with calm confidence, quiet grace, and a purpose that speaks louder than words. What they fail to see is that she has never truly been alone. She is not empty. She is not waiting for someone to complete her. She is not chasing validation from people who cannot even value themselves. Instead, she carries something much deeper, something most people overlook because they spend their lives chasing noise instead of peace. She has lived through enough disappointment to know that people can appear for a season and disappear without warning. She has watched trusted friends become strangers. She has felt abandoned during the moments she needed support the most. Still, she refused to let those experiences harden her heart. Instead, they sharpened her wisdom. They taught her that some people enter your life only to prepare you for the strength you never knew you had. They leave so you can discover that your greatest stability was never in them. It was growing inside you all along. If that speaks to your heart, stay until the end, because what comes next may explain why some women become impossible to shake. When a woman learns to walk confidently on her own, she also learns something even more valuable. She learns to hear her own voice again. Not the voice of guilt, not the voice of fear, not the opinions of people trying to control her decisions. She begins listening to the quiet voice within that always tells the truth. The voice that gently warns her when it is time to leave a place that no longer brings peace. The voice that reminds her when to trust, when to wait, when to forgive, and when to finally let go. That voice does not compete with noise. It does not shout to be heard. It speaks softly, and only a peaceful heart can recognize it. That is one reason she becomes comfortable walking alone. In the silence, her direction becomes clearer. She no longer mistakes confusion for excitement or chaos for love. She understands that not every opportunity is meant for her. Not every invitation deserves her presence. Not every connection deserves access to her heart. She has learned that protecting her peace is not selfish. It is necessary. And the more she listens to that inner wisdom, the stronger and calmer she becomes. Keep watching, because the next truth explains why peace often looks lonely to people who have never experienced it. She also understands something many people discover too late. Not every smile is genuine. Not every compliment comes with good intentions. Not every friendship is built on loyalty. Over time, she has learned to notice what feels wrong long before it becomes obvious. She pays attention to actions instead of promises. She watches consistency instead of impressive words. She notices when someone's energy quietly drains her, even while they pretend to care. That awareness did not appear overnight. It was built through painful lessons, difficult endings, and moments she never thought she would survive. But every lesson gave her stronger boundaries. Every disappointment increased her wisdom. Every goodbye created room for something healthier. Eventually, she realized that being alone was never the punishment people imagined it to be. It became freedom. It became healing. It became a place where her mind could rest without constantly defending itself. Solitude stopped feeling empty because it became filled with clarity, purpose, and peace. She no longer fears walking alone because she knows she is walking with confidence, direction, and quiet strength. And once a woman reaches that place, very little can pull her back into confusion. That is the kind of strength the world rarely notices at first, but it always respects in the end. It is the kind of freedom that teaches a woman to enjoy her own company without feeling incomplete. That is what makes her so difficult to shake. Darkness does not always arrive with obvious warning signs. Many times it comes dressed as kindness. It smiles, it flatters, it promises everything you want to hear. People who constantly need attention or cannot stand being alone often miss those hidden signs because they are too busy looking for acceptance. But not her. She has learned to walk her own path. She has trained her heart to stay awake. She does not always need proof before she becomes cautious. She senses when something feels wrong long before words reveal it. Her inner peace speaks louder than loud opinions, and her quiet life keeps her aware. People often ask how she can be so comfortable by herself. What they do not understand is that solitude became her greatest teacher. It showed her the difference between being truly loved and simply being useful to someone else. It reminded her to stop pouring her energy into people who never valued it. It taught her that love is never about begging someone to stay. Real love begins with respecting yourself enough to release what no longer belongs in your life. She no longer fears letting people walk away because she knows peace is far too valuable to trade for temporary company. Stay with this message because the next truth may completely change the way you see strength. The protection around her is not only something people can see, much of it is invisible. It is the quiet guidance that keeps her away from places where trouble waits. It is the gentle feeling inside that says no, even when everyone else is saying yes. That protection rarely arrives with dramatic moments or loud announcements. Most of the time it appears through small decisions that seem ordinary at first. It is the message she never answered, the invitation she politely declined, the opportunity she quietly walked away from before discovering it carried hidden problems. Looking back, she realizes those moments were never accidents. They became reminders that wisdom often protects us before danger ever appears. And that protection grows stronger when she learns to value silence. Too many voices can confuse the mind. Endless opinions can cloud good judgment. Constant noise makes it difficult to recognize what truly matters. But when she spends time alone, everything becomes clearer. Her thinking grows sharper. Her choices become stronger. She begins moving with confidence instead of pressure. She no longer reacts to every distraction. She responds only when peace leads the way. If this sounds familiar, keep watching because the next part explains why quiet people often carry the greatest strength. Some people misunderstand her completely. They call her distant. They assume she is cold or difficult to know. What they never realize is that her silence is not a wall built to keep people out. It is a safe place where she restores herself after everything life has taught her. It is where she listens to truth instead of confusion. It is where she rebuilds her courage every single day. Most importantly, it is where she becomes steady enough that very little can shake her anymore. She is not wandering without direction. She is not lost. Every step she takes has meaning, even when others cannot understand it. Every season of separation carries a purpose she may not fully see yet. Every quiet evening alone reminds her that she is stronger than fear wants her to believe. Real protection does not always look like shields or dramatic victories. Sometimes it simply looks like peace. Sometimes it looks like walking alone with confidence while carrying enough inner strength to face any challenge ahead. So the next time you see a woman walking with her head held high and no one beside her, do not feel sorry for her. Do not assume she is missing something. Understand that she may be walking in one of the strongest seasons of her life, where distance has become protection and quiet has become power. She no longer feels the need to explain every decision she makes. She does not wait until people reveal their true intentions before respecting what her heart already senses. Her awareness notices small changes long before actions make them obvious. When someone enters her space, she often feels the difference immediately. It may be a strange heaviness, a quiet discomfort, a feeling that something simply does not fit. That is not fear. That is wisdom developed through experience. She sees with more than her eyes. She notices what words cannot hide. While many people are impressed by smooth conversations, perfect appearances, or charming personalities, she pays attention to what remains after the performance ends. She has already lived through enough disappointment to recognize that appearances can be misleading. Pain refined her instead of defeating her. Betrayal strengthened her ability to see clearly. Difficult seasons transformed her awareness into one of her greatest protections. She listens carefully to tone, timing, actions, and the feeling behind every interaction. When everything looks perfect but her heart feels unsettled, she does not ignore that feeling. She quietly creates distance without arguments, without drama, and without needing to prove anyone wrong. Keep listening because the final lesson may be the one that changes everything. She no longer waits for chaos before making wise decisions. She does not chase explanations that will never satisfy her. She does not beg for closure from people who already showed her enough through their actions. Instead, she calmly steps back because she understands that not everything attractive is meant for her. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Not every person who admires her carries honest intentions. That simple understanding has protected her from repeating painful cycles she once thought she could never escape. She trusts the quiet voice within because it has guided her through moments when logic alone could not. It warned her before disappointment arrived. It redirected her before mistakes became permanent. It reminded her that protecting her peace is never something she should apologize for. She does not announce every insight she receives. She simply moves differently. When something changes, she adjusts without creating unnecessary conflict. No chasing, no pleading, no guilt. Her focus is no longer on proving herself to everyone around her. Her attention is on protecting the peace she fought so hard to build, the vision she refused to abandon, and the healing that completely changed her life. That is the kind of quiet strength that cannot easily be broken. And once a woman discovers it, she rarely gives it away again. Darkness is not always loud. Many times it arrives quietly. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides behind a warm smile. Sometimes it even looks helpful. That is why her intuition has become one of her greatest strengths. She has seen kindness used as a tool for control. She has walked away from simple conversations feeling completely drained without understanding why until later. Those experiences changed her. Now she no longer judges people only by what she sees. She listens to what her heart quietly tells her. The more she trusts that inner guidance, the clearer everything becomes. Confusion loses its grip. The people who once had easy access to her life no longer have access to her peace. She remembers what happened when she ignored those quiet warnings. She gave too many second chances. She stayed in places far longer than she should have. She overlooked the signs because she wanted to believe the best in everyone. It cost her deeply, but every lesson made her stronger. Now she refuses to ignore what her spirit already recognizes. Her awareness has become her shield. Her greatest gift is seeing what others often miss without making a scene. She does not always expose every wrong intention. Sometimes the strongest decision is simply to walk away. Stay with this message because the next lesson may change the way you protect your own peace. She understands that not every battle deserves a response. Sometimes the greatest victory comes from choosing silence instead of conflict. She no longer argues with feelings that have already warned her. If something does not sit right within her, she respects that feeling. That simple decision keeps her far ahead of situations that could have stolen her peace. Some people call her overly careful. Others say she is too sensitive. They fail to understand that her sensitivity was shaped through pain and refined through experience. It is no longer weakness, it has become wisdom. She notices the smallest changes in a room. She senses when someone's words do not match their intentions. She pays attention when her heart feels uneasy, even if everything looks perfect on the outside. That awareness protects her from manipulation. It makes dishonest people uncomfortable because they cannot easily hide behind fake kindness. She rarely needs proof before creating healthy distance. Her confidence does not come from loud reactions. It comes from quiet certainty. That silent knowing has protected her from countless traps, empty promises, and relationships that looked beautiful but carried hidden damage. She walks with light inside her, not only the kind others notice, but the kind that helps her see clearly. And when your vision becomes that clear, very little can deceive you. Keep watching because the next truth explains why calm people are often the hardest to defeat. She has learned that every distraction is not worth her attention. That is not weakness, it is maturity. Life has already taught her how easily chaos steals focus, drains energy, and pulls people away from their purpose. She understands that many people do not attack directly. Instead, they try to distract, frustrate, confuse, or provoke. Once she realized that some people only wanted a reaction because they were uncomfortable with her peace, everything changed. She stopped giving away her energy so freely. She learned how to walk away without feeling guilty, not because she could not fight, but because she understood that some battles lead nowhere. Some people only appear to test her patience, challenge her peace, or tempt her into becoming someone she worked hard to leave behind. She refuses to give them that victory. Growth taught her that silence can carry more strength than shouting. Distance can become protection instead of punishment. And peace can be the greatest success anyone can achieve. Real protection is not always escaping every storm. Sometimes it is having enough wisdom to ignore the invitation to one. It is choosing not to answer the message, choosing not to attend the argument, choosing not to be pulled into unnecessary drama. That is the kind of strength people rarely notice until much later. There will always be people who try to disturb her peace. Some use guilt, others use lies. Some test old wounds just to see if they still have influence over her emotions. But she is no longer the woman she once was. She has grown. She thinks before speaking. She breathes before responding. She pauses before making decisions. She no longer allows emotions to control every step she takes. Instead, she moves with purpose. She understands that her attention is valuable, and she refuses to waste it on people who have not earned a place in her life. That is the difference between reacting and responding. A protected woman knows how to guard her focus because she understands that many distractions exist only to pull her away from what truly matters. She stays centered even when others lose control. She lets people misunderstand her if they choose. She allows gossip to fade on its own. She knows that purpose speaks louder than opinions. She is not trying to prove her worth to everyone around her. She is protecting the peace she fought so hard to build. That quiet confidence unsettles people who expected easy access to her emotions. When she chooses not to react, she removes the power others hope to gain over her. If this message speaks to you, stay until the end, because the final lesson is often the most powerful. She now understands that stillness is one of the greatest forms of protection. She does not believe she must fight every battle or answer every accusation. She knows that not every misunderstanding deserves an explanation. Some people have already decided how they will see her, no matter what she says. Instead of wasting energy trying to change every opinion, she rises above the noise. She has learned the cost of stepping into unnecessary conflict. She knows how quickly peace can disappear when you choose battles that were never yours to fight. That is why she quietly walks away from drama without carrying bitterness. She does not argue with people determined to misunderstand her. She no longer feels pressured to defend every choice she makes. She trusts the direction she has been given and moves forward with confidence. Every season has strengthened her. Every challenge has deepened her wisdom. Every difficult goodbye has prepared her for greater peace ahead. Some may call her distant. Others may think she has changed too much. They are right. She has changed. She has become calmer, wiser, stronger, and far more protective of her heart. She understands that moving higher often requires leaving certain people and certain places behind. Real growth demands separation. And once a woman truly understands that, she walks forward with a peace that no amount of darkness can easily steal. Every time she walks away from something that was trying to steal her peace, she becomes even stronger. Every time she chooses silence instead of revenge, she protects her heart. Every time she refuses to waste her energy proving herself to people who were never meant to understand her, she grows into an even wiser woman. She does not step into every battle because she has learned that not every fight deserves her attention. Some conflicts are nothing more than distractions. Some are carefully placed traps. Others are simply beneath the person she has become. Her self-control is one of her greatest strengths. Her quiet spirit is her shield. Her victory is not found in loud arguments, but in the fact that she is still standing, still peaceful, still focused, and still moving forward while others expected her to fall. The world may try to pull her into confusion, but she refuses to be shaken. She does not react to every challenge because she already knows her value. She understands that winning does not always look like fighting. Sometimes it looks like walking away with your peace still intact. Stay with this message because what comes next explains why protecting your peace is one of the greatest forms of strength. She knows that not everyone deserves a place in her life, and she is completely at peace with that truth. She is not chasing popularity or trying to impress people who constantly seek attention. Her loyalty cannot be bought, and her energy is not available to everyone who asks for it. She has paid too high a price to hand her trust away without wisdom. She remembers what betrayal felt like. She remembers the disappointment that came from believing people who only wore friendly faces while hiding different intentions. Those painful experiences became powerful lessons. They taught her that access to her life must be earned through honesty, consistency, and respect. She no longer keeps people close just because she fears loneliness. She refuses to settle for relationships that slowly drain her spirit. If something is not built on truth, love, loyalty, and genuine care, she quietly lets it go. She has discovered that being alone with peace is far better than being surrounded by people who create constant confusion. If this speaks to your heart, keep watching because the next lesson reveals why her smallest circle has become one of her greatest blessings. She has grown comfortable with silence because silence has become one of her greatest teachers. In quiet moments, she finds clarity that busy lives often miss. In stillness, she hears wisdom that noise would never allow her to notice. That is why her circle remains small. It is not because she dislikes people. It is because she chooses carefully who receives access to her heart. She understands that the people closest to you will either strengthen your future or slowly weaken it. She guards her peace like something precious because she knows how easily it can be stolen. Life has shown her that harmful intentions do not always arrive with obvious warning signs. Sometimes they hide behind warm smiles, flattering words, or constant praise. She has experienced enough to know that titles alone mean very little. Friend, family, admirer, or companion, none of those words matter if the actions do not match them. She values people who celebrate her without jealousy, who encourage without competition, and who speak with honesty even when the truth is difficult. If those people are not present, she is perfectly willing to continue her journey alone, because truth with peace will always be greater than company built on deception. She also understands that real protection begins inside her own heart. She does not only examine the actions of others, she also looks honestly at herself. She admits her mistakes, she learns from them. She accepts responsibility instead of blaming everyone around her. She chooses forgiveness, not because every person deserves another chance, but because she refuses to carry bitterness that could slowly poison her own heart. That decision has become one of her greatest strengths. She releases anger, she lets go of envy, she walks away from revenge, because she knows those emotions only keep old pain alive. A peaceful heart hears direction more clearly. A clean spirit moves with greater confidence. She believes that healing changes everything. As old wounds disappear, manipulative people lose their influence. Guilt no longer controls her choices. Emotional games no longer confuse her. She has stopped living from yesterday's pain and started living from today's wisdom. That is why she seems so calm, even during difficult seasons. Her peace was built through healing, and that kind of peace cannot easily be stolen. Her small circle has become another layer of protection. It has never been about collecting more people. It has always been about choosing the right ones. Real loyalty naturally finds real loyalty. Honest hearts recognize each other without needing constant attention or approval. She does not chase relationships that feel forced. She does not beg anyone to remain in her life. If something is genuine, it will grow naturally without exhausting her spirit. If it constantly demands that she sacrifice her peace, then it was never meant to stay. That understanding allows her to sleep peacefully, even when life is not perfect. She rests because her heart is no longer crowded with unnecessary drama. She knows that even deep love should never require losing yourself. If someone repeatedly disturbs her peace, she chooses her well-being without guilt. She is not afraid of walking alone. What she truly fears is becoming trapped in unhealthy patterns she worked so hard to escape. She refuses to repeat cycles that nearly broke her before. So she stays wise, not closed. Careful, not fearful. When something quietly feels wrong, she pays attention, because experience has taught her that peace is more than a feeling. It is a guide. And when peace disappears without reason, she understands it may be the first warning that it is time to step away before the damage begins.